Hey everybody, happy Monday. Right now, I'm working with a very exciting dessert concept that's expanding pretty quickly across the Midwest. And I want to share with you how we're doing site selection. I think that would be interesting from a technology perspective and from a real estate perspective to see how we're leveraging software, data, and real world experience to find ideal sites for this concept. So first of all, I know this video is probably going to come out pretty choppy. I'm recording on Microsoft Teams right now, so bear with me. Let's take a look at their products here. About 12% of their sales comes in with coffee. I think 8% ice cream and 80% being these mini donuts, which are very good. Not like any other donut you've had. Let's find their locations here. Right now they have 5 locations in Tulsa area, and a bunch of sites coming soon. So here I have their 2 longest standing sites pulled up on Placer. We have Broken Arrow, which has been in place for about 12 months, and South Tulsa, which is on Mingo Road, which has been in place for about 2 years. The other sites in Tulsa are too new for me to take a look at here. But right now, it looks like they've had a lot of one and done visitors, people coming to try out the concept, and a portion of them returning, but they've had a lot of first timers. People hang out for about 30 minutes. And here's their traffic on the trail in 12 months. I think most useful is the trade area information. Right now we're looking at the South Tulsa location. Placer automatically pulled up all of the competing coffee and donut shops. Each dot or blob here marks the home location of a portion of their visitors. And these markings are the roads that their visitors will take to visit their store. So it looks very concentrated within a 5-mile radius. And I'm sure that their repeat visitors are coming from within this 3-mile radius here. Generally speaking, their demographic is spelled out right here. And I also really wanted to see where people come from before visiting Sugar Llamas and where they go to. I was very surprised to see that not a lot of people are actually coming from home and going to Sugar Llamas, especially the South Tulsa location. Broken Arrow is closer to 50%. That just means not a lot of people are actually getting in their car and saying, hey, I want to go get a mini donut. They're picking one up on the way home from work, on the way home from a restaurant, or we're shopping. Here's the comparison of traffic throughout the day for both stores. So it looks like one of them tracks a lot more. See the red line? That tracks a lot more with a traditional retail node. If you geofence the entire intersection, most retail nodes will track that 12 p.m. peak and then another 6 p.m. dinner peak, tracking with all the restaurants and retail in the area. It looks like South Tulsa, being the dark blue or purple, that's more of a destination site as opposed to the impulse of Broken Arrow. So it looks like this concept can do well both as a destination and an impulse site. Very busy throughout the weekends. Keep in mind this only tracks visitors and not ticket size. They have a higher ticket size throughout the week, Monday through Friday, and that's because a lot of hospitals and schools will pick up large workers. So this doesn't necessarily track sales, just foot traffic. You could have one person come in that spends $300, and that's not really reflected here. Most people staying on average 30 minutes. And that's just some background information. Let's see how we can actually use this info for selecting a new site. Let's move over to Site to Do Business here. Reshare. There you go. Okay. Here are the 5 Tulsa sites. Each one has 3, 5, and that's 10. Sorry, 5, 10, and 15-minute drive rings. So we can see that these are pretty ideally spaced out. If you're in Wichita, you might imagine that North Owasso store being similar to a Derby. So it's very much its own trade area. You can see my mouse here. This is a midtown. Where you see Tulsa, that's the central business district. So this one, just south of the CBD, has a lot of density. And then each one of these 3 to the south is more of a high-income neighborhood area. The overlay is household income. So darker red means more household income. Now let's flip over to spending density. So the darker red instead of income now means more spending on snacks and beverage per square mile. So this is, I think, a very important metric for this brand to take a look at. One drawback of this data is that it only counts the home locations. So you could have a very dark red census block where people live there and they do spend a lot of money on snack and beverage, but they're not spending it at their house. They could be spending it far away. So if we look at Tulsa Hills, which is the farthest west, there's a ton of retail and restaurant activity out here. It's not reflected with this Site to Do Business data because the people that spend all their money there live elsewhere. So that's probably all of these folks. This dark red corridor, they're actually traveling to Tulsa Hills to spend money, but it's not reflected on this map. So let's go back to Google Maps, get a more holistic view. So after looking at that Placer data and diving into how far is somebody willing to go to get a mini donut, what does their demographic look like? How far apart do these things need to be spaced? I realized there are a lot of similarities with targeted site selection. So why reinvent the wheel? If Target has a team of people, all they do all day is look into new target sites, analyze future demographics, growth, job growth, income, spending. Why reinvent the wheel when we can just piggyback on their research? If Target puts a location in, they are darn sure that it's going to be successful. So why don't we just locate with proximity to Target with their site selection in mind? So there are 6 Target locations. This actually tracks very closely to the number of Sugar Llamas locations in Tulsa. And they have the same incomes, same radius, same density, same spending. We're very much going after the people that already go to Target. So why don't we locate between a Target or a power center that has a Target in it and high income neighborhood or high density neighborhood? So that's where we can go back to Wichita or Dallas or Oklahoma City. And now we can make decisions based on the research that Target's already done. So to me, for every 200,000 population that a metro area has, you can support one sugar llamas per 200,000 people. So if we're dealing with Tulsa, which has 1 million in their MSA, I would say you could do 5 stores, maybe 6 stores. Wichita, we're going to be looking at 3, maybe 4 stores. Right now, we're placing a West Wichita site, and yes, we are looking directly in between the 2 targets. We think that one centrally located location can service this entire Northwest Wichita trade area. And also looking at spending, there is a lot of spending in that West Wichita area, especially on snack and beverage. Also good household incomes. The founder of the concept is most concerned, however, with 5-mile density, because they do have a lot of pickup orders. If you have a lot of density, that means you'll have a hospital, you have a school, multiple schools, a lot of employment. So if they're getting a ton of large pickup orders, we also want to be concerned with their density. And that's something that can't really be discovered through Placer or Site to Do Business. Pull us back over to the window here. Here are those 5 Tulsa stores again. And here is the 5-mile population density. Actually, total population, I'm sorry. So each one of these stores I would consider to be successful. Not very much cannibalization between the 5, well spaced out, each one generating an equal amount of sales. They do have quite a large variance, however, in their total population within 5 miles. So it looks like the sweet spot is between 100 and 200,000 population density, which is enough to have a good number of employers and schools and hospitals and other healthcare within that trade area. The exception here, 2 exceptions. One is Owasso, which is that suburban area, which is its own trade area, similar to Derby and Wichita. They only have 65,000 people in that area, but they have a lot of potential regular customers, since a lot of people don't really leave that trade area. So you do have a captive audience, and that area probably does have its own school system and likely its own healthcare. Another exception is the Midtown, which has almost 300,000 people. But that doesn't benefit them as much because not all of those people have the disposable income to spend on snack and beverage. So these are the densities we're concerned with. When we're selecting a new location, we'll make sure that we meet these same criteria. Just to recap, when we're looking for a new sugar llama site in any one of the 5 markets that we're looking at right now, we're looking at proximity to snack and beverage spending, proximity to a target, positioning on a busy corridor between a target and high-income neighborhoods. We're also making sure that we're spaced out enough so that our 10 and 15-mile drive times are not intersecting. And we're also making sure that we have good proximity to schools, hospitals, and employment. And once we select a number of sites, we'll run each one of these through the criteria and make sure that we have a good holistic view of each site so that we can ensure the highest probability of success. So please comment or direct message if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or if you'd like me to take a look at any new concepts that you might be working with. Thanks.